Louisville basketball had one hell of a night with a coming out party against South Carolina State. The offense was a flutter, and of course, Twitter was as well, which brings up one of the latest topics we have to talk about. Do Louisville fans need to get over the Kenny Payne stuff? What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Now We Can Talk Like Fans on ESPN Louisville Plus. I'm Justin Sofro, and if you don't know, we talk all things Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass here on the platform. And of course, we have to talk about all things that are happening with Louisville. The basketball season is here, and we can start to celebrate. And of course, the Cards were hitting from all angles of the court. And of course, they were putting a little bit of a good defense performance. But the one thing that they were also hitting on was their former coach. And that is, of course, talking about one Kenneth Victor Payne, now assistant coach, once again, for John Vincent Calipari down in Arkansas. And, well, some of the local media personalities around here weren't happy with some comments made by Louisville fans. Some, maybe myself included, taking some shots at the former Louisville player and coach now that he's in exile. Let's go ahead and throw it to the first sound. And I'm going to be honest here. The very first sound is going to go to one James Strebel, who's on ESPN 680, 1057, and of course the ESPN Louisville app, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can listen to him there. Even though he was kind of copying Andy Sweeney, our program director, but I wanted to get his comments out there first. And then, of course, I'll play it back to back with one Andrew Sweeney. And here you go.
It's over. Like, stop crying about Kenny Payne and go watch your basketball team and be happy. They're good. Be happy. You don't need to bring up Kenny Payne every 5 seconds. Like, stop it. He's gone. You wanted him. They wanted him gone so bad. We want him out of here. We don't ever want to see Kenny Payne again. He can't come back to the 1986 trophy celebration, but you still talk about him. For someone that you hate so much and you never want to see again, it's like the guy that like breaks up with his girlfriend and like she was beautiful. She was beautiful at first. She had all the looks, Tanner, all the looks. And you break up with her. I don't ever want to talk to that girl again. I hate her. I'll never. And then you're asking your buddies about her. Hey, how's Karen doing?
Enough with the lame ass Kenny Payne tweets during the game. Enough. Get over it. Get over it. Someone, you know when you have a bad breakup, okay? Nick messed things up with the doctor many years ago.
Indeed.
And I'm sure one of your buddies was a Moon Mullins. Maybe Probably. It was someone that I don't even know. Said, Nick, you got to move on. And Nick's moved on, and he's doing great now, okay? But he had to, at some point, someone's got to look you in the eyes, okay? Maybe give you a little slap in the face. Okay? You gotta stop. They would have lost this game. Kenny Payne's era, they would have lost this game to South Carolina State. And when a Kentucky fan comes at you and says, well, why were there so many empty seats? Oh, that's Kenny Payne. Kenny Payne ruined the program. Stop it. You guys, you gotta stop it. He doesn't care about you. He moved on. He went back to Daddy John Vincent Calipari. Stop it. It's over. It is done. You have a top 10 basketball team. You don't need to invoke Kenny Payne, whether positively or negatively, in this program ever again. You have a new woman. She loves you. You have a new man. He loves you. Okay? You'll be like Nick's out with Jeanette. Well, you know what? I tell you, that doctor I dated 7 years ago, she never would have ordered two. I mean, you think he's going to do that? Now the other thing. And Nick, I think we got to change passwords here. At midnight, this was sent to me from Mitchell Hannigan. Okay?
Oh boy.
From Handgun. He says this is for Strebel when he wakes up, and it's from Justin Sofro. And I contend that we need to change. Sofro needs a week away from ESPN Louisville Plus.
What'd he do?
He tweeted out, Kanai just impregnated me.
I mean,
so for you have 9 kids and a wife and 6 jobs. And 6 jobs.
Come on, dude.
Okay, even Nick saying, come on, dude.
It was a good dunk. I don't know what to tell you. It was a great dunk. I'm sorry. I was excited. Maybe I'm a poet when it comes to words. If you didn't like it, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It was on Twitter. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to see the comments that I make, but I get excited for Louisville basketball, especially when Kenai Roos is cramming on people left and right. Anyway, we need to talk about this first. Of course, I had to put that on there because they took a shot at me. And I'm sorry, not stepping away from EL Plus, because if I step away from EL Plus, there will be no EL Plus because nobody else wants to help pitch into this platform. Anyway, I disagree vehemently with both Strebel and Andy and their takes. And of course, that was Andy Sweeney with the take Monday through Friday, noon to 3 p.m. on ESPN 680, 105.7. And of course, on the ESPN Louisville app, you can listen to him and Nick Valvano yell and scream into the microphone. I guess that's what they'll do. Anyway, as it stands, though, here's the issue that I have with this. The analogy doesn't work for Kenny Payne. For a large group of the fan base of Louisville fans, many Louisville fans were stuck in this situation. You keep using him as an ex-girlfriend. You keep using that analogy. And I don't feel like you all understand, especially it's always groups of people that are not Louisville basketball fans, that are not Louisville fans, or you're fans like Strebel of the opposite fan base, of the Kentucky Wildcats. So your opinion on this matter, every thought you have, every even little premonition to speak on this, zip it. It doesn't matter what you think. This is not what you had to deal with. You did not have to deal with watching your program crumble into pieces and think about the inevitability, the possibility that it may never come back. I'll be honest, with what I'm sitting here when I'm watching with Pat Kelsey and what he was able to do last season, I wasn't sure that it would ever happen again, especially when they hired Pat Kelsey, because at the end, it was, maybe we can get another great coach to come rebuild this program. And nope. Scott Drew, nope. Everybody just kept saying nope. Maybe Richard Pitino, nope. And it's Pat Kelsey. And none of us were excited. And then Pat Kelsey did what he did. And he put his head down. He went to work. Now, here's the issue. The analogy of the ex-girlfriend that you're worried about, that you're constantly looking at and you're having opinions on, and why can't you let them go? That's not what the situation was. The situation was a large portion of the fan base, a very maybe not vocal enough part of the fan base, because people have been crying and screaming for the last 20 some odd years while Rick Pitino was here about the 80s. We're so worried about the 80s and the teams that were here before. Nobody cares. We're done. We moved on from them. But unfortunately, they won. Jerry Eves, Butch Beard, call her Kevin, those guys. They won because they wanted Kenny Payne, a guy who sat on the bench for UK, who's always been a do-nothing guy. Outside of, we thought maybe he could recruit, couldn't even do that, especially when he's on his own. And then he brought in a ragtag group of useless people. Milt Wagner, who was selling couches. And then you saw what happened with Nolan Smith. And here was the issue. This was not a relationship that we had moved on from. This was an arranged marriage that we begged and pleaded and said, no, don't do this. Do not make me do this. I was a 9-year-old girl getting sold off to another man in another country. That's what happened. Maybe this is a bad analogy. Maybe this is something I'm going to go back and cut. But I feel like that's what would happen to me. My life was over. It was done. It was as bad as it could get, and especially with the one thing that I care almost for the most of my life. Louisville basketball had been one of my favorite things of all time. Yes, now I have kids and a wife and all that, things that are more important to me. And that obviously I'll put before anything else. But at the same time, if Louisville basketball was going to be beheaded in front of me, I was not going to take it on the chin, especially by a guy who's supposed to be a former player, who's supposed to care about the program, who's supposed to care about Denny Crum. And Denny Crum passed away watching you kill the program that he built and he created. While, yes, he wasn't treated perfectly by Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino did a lot of things that pushed him and his regime and everybody out from before out. Rick Pitino at least had success and kept building off the program that he created, that he won national championships with and won another one. Instead, Kenny Payne was all too happy to collect paychecks, to ruin this program, smile, and tell you lie after lie after lie. Tell you how this basketball program was broken, how it had so much more that had to be built up from. When no, one man was able to come in with a little bit of money, a little bit of commitment, a little bit of work ethic, and get us back to where Louisville basketball deserves to be. Yeah, it's a top 10 team. or at least 11 right now. A team where we can be proud of, a team we can be excited to go out there and compete. Maybe get us a couple more big men and I'll be happy. But as it stands right now, I don't think enough vitriol, I don't think enough could be said about Kenny Payne. I'm sorry. I just said through 2 years and it felt like it was going to be 3. I was told by many people that it was going to be 3. No, I'm sorry. We're not stopping. You don't need to stop. Louisville fans don't stop. If you want to stop, feel free. You don't have to bring it up. But the rest of us, I'm not going to let you live down that mistake. I'm not going to let it keep going. I'm not going to let him forget about it while he's making $201,000 ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching into his bank account from the University of Louisville on top of all the money that he's making at Arkansas currently as well. So no. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Kenny Payne and when it comes to him at the University of Louisville and his history and his past, every time there's a possibility, if I see Jerry Eves or Butch Beer in the street, if I see Caller Kevin, if I see any of you bums that lied to me and told me this program was broken, that it was ruined, that it couldn't come back up, I'm sorry. I'm Michael Jordan. You are Larry Bird. Bleep you bleep. That's what I'm saying. That's what we're doing. Maybe there'll be a smile on my face, but that's all I got. Kentucky fans, Louisville fans, everybody that's in here, Kentucky fans, you can keep your opinions to yourself, honestly. Just keep them to yourself. Louisville fans, I want to hear you sound off. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you just disagree? Do you think that you need to be the bigger man? We need to move on. We need to not disparage our former players and former coaches, even if they're the worst coach of all time, of any sport ever. He's the worst to ever do it. Any little league, there's nobody worse than Kenny Payne. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, do me a solid favor, smash the freaking like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. I'll talk to you guys next time. Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. See ya.